fathers. And so I got some special guests, some first time visitors with us. Hopefully, they enjoyed enough to come back. We'll see what it looks like. And so we're gonna start with the question of the day. What childish things do you still do as an adult? What childish things do you still do as an adult? And we're gonna start with Miss Dia.
Hey.
Hey, what's going on?
So I'll say pretend like I'm somebody else when I call people sometimes.
Oh, for
What mood I'm in, I try to pretend like I'm somebody else.
So who is the person that you act like you are?
I don't know.
Rosie Perez?
No.
I know Miss D.
No, I don't know. I just go with the flow. It depends on, how they answer the phone, whatever I could get away with.
That's what's up. So you freestyle it.
Yeah.
That's what's up. Hey, we got a youngin, but he's still doing his thing in ATL. Mr. Prototype Dad.
What's going on?
Chilling, man. I seen you putting out your workout videos. You know what I'm saying? Maybe it's just a picture. You know what I'm saying? Were you lifting weights and stuff?
No, I don't know. Maybe.
No, somebody else did that. Okay.
Maybe,
it was AI?
Yeah.
Okay, I got you. What you got on the question?
Man, a childish thing that I still do. There's a few things. I still dunk on people in the doorways. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Yeah, like when people are like walking across, or like my kids, I dunk on them all the time. I dunk on my wife, that kind of stuff. I still slap box with like my brothers and stuff like that. Slap box and we wrestle. So that's I still do that childish stuff. So
that's what's up. I appreciate you being here as usual, homie.
I love being here.
Absolutely. Hey, and then we're gonna welcome to the stage Miss I just got here, but she ready. Miss Jennifer.
Oops, there we go. Hey y'all. Pulled a Dwayne on you. Sorry.
Oh man.
Oh man.
What you got on the question?
What childish things do I still do? I'll still watch cartoons, and when I'm talking about cartoons, I'm not talking about like adult cartoons like Family Guy or Archer or anything. I will still like get down on some SpongeBob and some Amazing World of Gumball, like Cartoon Network type time.
That's what's up. Hey, SpongeBob. Oh my god, I can't listen. You might well be watching The Simpsons.
Hey, no, that's an adult cartoon. Technically speaking.
Okay, that's
more adult themage, but I'm talking about like the true kiddie stuff. Like,
okay, I got you.
I'll still do that.
That's what's up. And then we got some newcomers in the building. We're gonna welcome first time guest, Mending Eden. What's going on, sir?
How's it going? I kind of like what that prototype dad said, because I actually do that a lot. I like to dunk on people, but I would say for me, the most childish thing that I do, it's gonna sound weird, but I still I talk to people in my head. And what I mean by that is, I'll be driving, I'll have the kids in the back, and I'm going over conversations that I'm gonna probably have later on that day. So my kids will be in the back, and they're like, "Dad, who are you talking to?" Right? It's like I almost forget that they're back there. But yeah, I would say I still have conversations with people in my head, but it's different than when it was, I guess, as a child. You have these imaginary people that you talk to. These are real people. They're just not there right at the moment.
That's what's up. I appreciate you sharing, homie. Hey, and then we're gonna welcome to the stage another newcomer. It's couples night for them as always. We're gonna welcome to the stage Amara, Shah, and Toya in the building.
Oh.
Yeah, man, we in here.
Absolutely. Listen, I can't snap, so I yeah. So what y'all got on the question?
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and go.
Yeah.
I still find a lot of things funny. Everybody in the room can be serious, and I'm looking, and in my mind, I'm just like, "Oh, they really serious. This is funny." Or, "Oh, I'm just saying, oh, he think he got it together. See that sniff? See how he rubbed his nose?" And I'll just start laughing. So I just see a lot of opportunities that are funny to me, and I will just laugh like the little girl that I was when I thought everything was funny. I still laugh a lot.
That's good. Like that. Laughter is really good. What you got on your mind?
Yeah, for me, like actually, I'm like the big kid, so I do a lot of childish things. So I watch cartoons. I was just watching Transformers the other day, like the whole season.
Oh wow!
Mending Eden, I talk in my brain all the time too.
Yeah,
My
man.
kid, my wife, they catch me all the time.
Yeah, man.
She has to tap me to bring me back. You know, I'm always in my mind with my imaginary friends, but they're real too. You know,
Right.
you know, and like every Friday, I take a group of kids. We go eat ice cream and cookies, and I let them play and go crazy in the store. I don't
That's what's
give them
up.
any rules. I don't give them boundaries. They're blowing bubbles in my car. In the car, humble dad, in the car, bro.
Listen, it's your car, not mine. So
it's soap and water.
listen. Are you saying that your car needs soap and water?
Nah, but I'm just saying it's just
Oh,
helping out, you know, so it's better than the cookies left in the back.
That's a fact. That is a fact. That's a fact. That's what's up. I appreciate y'all being here. It's gonna be dope. I love the energy. Hey, welcome to the stage. The internet goes crazy when he speaks. Mr. Ricky Williams in the building. What's going on, homie?
Mike check. I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm doing well, bro. Good to see you, as always.
All right. Childish things. I still eat peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
Oh, come on, bro.
Gotta keep it smooth, you know what I'm saying? Jif with the strawberry. Everybody like grape, but I gotta get down with that strawberry.
Ooh.
Right? What else? Avid video game. I still play video games, retro video games, Sonic the Hedgehog, Mario. Golden Axe is my issue, you know what I'm saying? Man. Yeah, that's about it though. You know what I'm saying? Everything else I'm pretty grown. So
that's what's up, man. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. And then we're gonna welcome the person that is always late, but he's here on time.
Late, but
I
still
didn't call
great.
him up yet. And hopefully he gets a moment to go ahead and get off on mute. Okay. Go ahead and click the button now. As I bring up my homie, my friend, and those that don't know, this is my accountability partner in real life, Mr. Dwayne Jones.
How y'all doing?
Oh, come on!
Yeah. I got some coaching from my wife. She said, "You see that button right there? You push that, and you're good."
You got the question, bro?
Yeah. Man, I still leave. I notice sometimes I leave dishes in my room. Sometimes, man, I'm like, man, come on, bro. Yeah. I'm like, man, you weren't that tired, man. Get that. Come on, man. So yeah, I'm working on me.
That's what's up.
You're still eating in your room. That is childish. You're still eating in your room. That's childish.
Hey, I don't have the luxury of an office, so my room, that's my office, dadgummit. So it's like, man.
Why don't you just build you one?
Hey, that's a great idea. See, the thing called time, they just don't make it like they used to.
You build everything else, though.
Yeah, I'm working on it, brother.
That's what's up. I would say I sometimes wear like the same jeans. Like if I ain't mess them up, you know what I'm saying? I'm probably gonna wear those bad boys 2 days in a row. You know what I'm saying? Maybe 3, depending on what.
Childish or resourcul?
I was about to say, wait, you're not gonna let them breathe? You're not letting, get a little.
Listen, that's what I used to do when I was a kid because I was poor. You know what I'm saying? I got to wear my pants a couple times during the course of the week. You know,
not 3.
Listen, that's you. I'm talking about me. If nobody saw me wear them, then I'm going to a different event.
Guys,
you know what I'm saying?
All right.
They don't know. They don't know.
By themselves. That's when you go ahead and retire them to the washing machine.
When?
I said when they get to standing up in the corner by themselves.
Yeah.
They're so dirty.
Oh yeah, but mine don't do that. You know what I'm saying?
I don't think
so. All right, here we go. So that's our warm up. Y'all ready for the real questions? All right, so here we go. The first question is, we'll keep it simple. How would you describe the purpose of a father or a dad? How would you describe the purpose of a father or a dad? And I'll give you some think time. Okay, and we're going to start with Dwayne.
The purpose of a father is to guide and direct his family, and then teach his children not just to honor the Lord, well, most and foremost to honor the Lord, and then to be able to navigate the trials of life. And the most important way I believe that he does that is by telling his testimony, saying where he came from and what he went through. and then passing that on. So leaving an inheritance in that way as well. All right, we'll go with Miss Dia.
You pick things. First, I would say to be an example for his children, as far as for a young man, how to carry himself, what he should be focused on, instilling his temperament, his attitude toward life. From the perspective of a young woman, I would say a dad gives her the foundation of what she should value in herself first, then in her partner in the future, or just young men, how she should expect to be treated by other men in life. And I digress.
For sure. Who you got going next?
Jennifer.
I believe that you guys kind of covered it, but the things that I was going to say, but basically to lead the family, to create the foundation of guiding everyone, not just, just to create the foundation and guide the children and wife too on the path that the family is taking, and make sure that it's executed and everybody is healthy, happy, and balanced. He provides balance.
Okay. Who you got going next?
Mending Eden.
I really like the question. I would say the purpose of the father is to be, kind of piggybacking what everybody else says, is that foundation. Really, the father's the source. It's where the father goes, the family follows. So I love in the word where it says, train up a child in the way that they should go, and when they get older, they will not depart. The biggest thing with that is when I started to really understand what a train was, I used to think the train was the entire the part, the cars, everything. But really the train is the part with the engine. So that means if we are the train, then our family are the car. So it just depends on what tracks we're on. And that's just a lot of responsibility. And that's why, as the source, I think us as fathers have to also seek the source and be in complete alignment to really understand our true purpose in that.
That's what's up. Who you got going next?
Let's do prototype dad.
Man, so the purpose of a father is, not only to lead his family, protect his family, teach his children how to make income, how to make money, give them skills, give them skills that kind of help them grow into adulthood. Also be there for the community, man. Like, being a father don't just stop at your house. It's being that dad that puts the nets up at the hoop court. You know what I'm saying? For the rest of the community, it's sacrificing yourself that way as well. You know what I mean? So it don't just stop in the household. It extends to the community, and the whole community should see you and view you as a trustworthy protector of what's going on in the community. You know what I'm saying? So when prototype is around, oh, ain't nothing happening around here. Like, you know what I mean? So it extends farther. So, but yeah, that's how I would say the purpose of it, that is.
Prototype. How long have you been on this show, bro?
I thought I was last. Oh, yeah. Go ahead, Unc. You ain't go yet.
Ahmad didn't go either. Ahmad was trying to tell you didn't go either. Oh, it's good. A father or dad to teach the family how to time travel effectively. To teach them how to time travel effectively, right? To teach the daughters how to preserve, and teach the men how to hone, right? Hone their skills, know when to defend, know when to attack, right? Can you really put a label on what a father's supposed to be? Because the truth is, he's everything to everybody in a family. He's your mechanic, he's your gardener, he's your therapist, he's your lover, right? He's your hero, he's your child's hero, right? He's your son's first example. Your daughter's first love. But isn't it crazy how it's been minimized? You can't put a limit on it, but it's not needed. But what do I know? Amar, Rashad, and Toya, it's your turn.
You want to go first? Or you want
Yeah,
me to?
I was just gonna say I'm gonna keep it simple.
Okay.
A father needs to show what it looks like to submit to Christ and still lead your family and serve and sacrifice. So he needs to model that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just to kind of add to that, I believe a father is responsible for creating the environment in the home. And I think that Ricky encompasses what you were saying is if a husband, father is looking at that environment, then that means he's looking at every single aspect of that house from a bird's eye level, even down to the grindstone. And he's involved in every area. So.
That's good. That's a good start, a good baseline. So kind of as we move throughout the course of the conversation, we can always come back to those particular points and that we've stated. So that's why I asked that particular question. So as the next question is going to be something along those lines. I think like for me as a young dude, I didn't have a father in my life like that. So I didn't have these conversations at all. So that's one of the reasons why I started the channel, to kind of give people that are dads or wanting to be dads an opportunity to hear what it sounds like, hear the perspectives of others of what it's like to be a good dad. And so my question is, when should a male be taught about having children? When should a male be taught about having children? Okay. And we're going to start with Dia. When should a male be taught about having children?
I would say when they're old enough to ask, if that's older before puberty, if we can have that conversation, then we have that conversation. But definitely during puberty, when it starts, when you catching them with the tense, it's time to have the conversation if that's happening, and just watching the behavior. If you feel that they're interested in girls, like with my sons, I would say when I noticed that they were interested in the opposite sex, it was time to have those conversations. So I'll go with prototype.
Man, I would say that's one of those things that you start installing from way before. You know what I mean? And just slide in little jewels. Like when my boys were young, 5, 6, whenever. Like I was putting in her head, get married first. You know what I'm saying? Like we know that baby daddy stuff stops. Like we're not doing that in this lineage. That curse is broken. You know what I mean? So as early as you can, you start planting that seed, and as time goes on, you just keep watering and watering, and you know what I mean. So, man, as early as you can, like as early as they can communicate. I mean, I would say forcibly, like start sliding that in, like, hey, we're not having kids out of wedlock over here. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna be married before we have kids. We're gonna be this, that, And I always ask my sons, like, what kind of father you gonna be? What kind of husband you gonna be? Just so they have it in their head that this comes first, and not, you know what I'm saying, then that. So, man, let's go with Amhan Rashad and Miss Toya.
Yeah, that's really good because I agree. As early as possible. Little girls are getting it with Barbie dolls and baby dolls and all that. They get in it early as possible. So my son's getting it early. He got in early. So, but yeah, so I think it's important to start planting those seeds in, and it's age appropriate. Is what you do. And my son thinks a wife is called a mom, so I use his terminology. So when I get my own mom one day, it's like, yeah, okay, just make sure you take care of her right, marry her first. And I say all the other stuff, but he started bringing that stuff up. And I just keep it age appropriate for him. And as he gets older, he'll remember those conversations.
Right. And same, I feel like when he sees us kissing, hugging, it's like, I want to do that. No, when you get your own mommy. So that's when you do it. So yeah, I back that. And Let me call on Dwayne.
Yeah, I'm with y'all on that. Real early. Once they start oh, look at the baby, and then they start matching up these little toys together, and this the mommy and this the daddy. Oh, they're married, right? Okay. All right. So even as we're starting off early, yeah, we all of that, including talking about sex and all that. Yeah, we start. Hey, the parts are different and all that fun stuff, and just like y'all said, it's age appropriate though.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you explain to at their level, but they get it as they're growing up. So just as long as they have the model example, which is in that household, then they should be golden. Oh, my bad. Miss Jennifer, come with it.
I'm gonna say, ooh, that was an echo. I'm gonna say whenever you talk to them about sex. Now, for me, I'm not a boy, but my mom had the sex conversation with me. I was about 5. And then, from then on, it was all of those conversations were open. And like everyone else has said, age appropriate. This is not something that you just go and talk to your little friends about. I'm having this conversation with you, so whenever you're talking to them about any of those things, talking about, this is what comes with that, so they go hand in hand. Start talking, having all of those conversations early and frequently, and with appropriate terminology, and with all seriousness. To be perfectly honest, it's not anything to be ashamed of, or weird about, like people like to be. It's part of life, so have those conversations early and often. um Ricky, did you go already? Okay.
As soon as they start liking girls, my sons, as soon as they start, ooh, I think she pretty. We need to holler at you. Need to holler at you. Right? You got to establish that baseline before anybody else can get their input on. Right? And the truth is, y'all don't want to say it, right? But these little kids be buck out here. Lord knows what I was doing when I was 10, rubbing up against little Miss Sally Mae. Don't nobody want to talk about that. Right? We play like we wasn't children, like we wasn't, playing catch a girl, freak a girl, hide and go get it. As soon as my oldest son, oh, I think she pretty. Come here, let me talk to you. The earlier the better. The earlier the better. Right? We and it's crazy how, you know what I'm saying, we look at it when it comes to sons, when like somebody like, yeah, the boys, they wake up, have a little wet dream, bust it all in their underwear, you know what I'm saying? But these girls be buck too. Right? My son, who's a handsome young man, I must say so myself. Right? Them little shorties was pushing up on them. They was pushing up on them. So we had to give them that rhythm early. And y'all, HD know me. It's clean cut, no chaser. Hey man, this is what's gonna happen. Blah blah blah. Woo woo. Right? Come talk to me. Come talk to me. Come holler at me. Right? Ain't nothing taboo on this. We can talk about what you want to know. Right? So as soon as humanly possible, man. Again, as soon as they stop liking girls, because who knows what's out there? You like they're your kids, but you don't really know till they tell you. You don't know what's going on till you really know what they tell you. They at school, you know what I'm saying? Well, if I could ever tell you all the stories, when I was in 7th, 8th grade, boy, like crazy buck stuff. Right? So you got them know whenever. Who didn't go yet?
I didn't go yet.
There you go.
All right. My son is 3. So he sees how me and my wife operate, and he does the same thing. Ahmad and Toya, he actually tries to propose to my wife often. He's like, "Mommy, I wanna marry you." But right now at 3, do I talk to him about children? No. I actually go in a different route, to be honest. When I go back and I read Genesis, I love Genesis because Genesis teaches me like the order of things. So I'm big on purpose. When you look at the garden before before Adam had Eve, he had purpose. So for me, it's really pushing that purpose point on him, right? Because giving him that direction, that destination. Because a lot of times, what you see with a lot of the young men, I'm a college director, by the way. So I work in a high school, and my job is to try to get them to college. So you see it. The problem that our young men are having is that they lack purpose. They lack direction. And when you don't know where you're going, any road will take you there. So where purpose isn't known, a lot of times abuse can kind of fill in that void. So they abuse themselves. There's a lot of porn going on. There's a lot of just misdirection and misguidance. So for me, I'm really pushing the point of purpose and finding your gift. What is that gift that God has given to you? What are you supposed to do with that? And then while he's finding that, he's watching me and watching how I am with my wife, watching how I am with him and his sister. I'm becoming that example. And then once he's old enough, and of course, as a father, I think you will know the time when that time is right. I know for me right now, it's not. He's not going to understand anything that I'm saying. However, we have these high level conversations, and I know he doesn't understand it, but the more he hears it, the more he's going to become that the older he gets. So but I also agree with everybody, when they can come to the level of understanding about what that actually means, you start having that conversation. But at 3, if I'm guiding him in the way of purpose, I think by the time it's time for us to have that conversation, I will have pushed him in the right direction where he's focused on where God wants him to go, and making sure that whatever young woman comes along, he's not going to have to run off of his journey and off his path to get her, because he's going to run into her because she's going to be on the same journey as he is. So purpose for me is the ultimate right now for my son.
That's good. Did anybody have something to add? Okay. So as I'm listening, very thought provoking answers, but I wanted to kind of be on the point of purpose of what you were saying, Minden Eden. My question is, how do you teach or how do you explain purpose to a young person?
Mm-hmm.
Now, the reason why I have my particular perspective, just for people that don't know, I was a teacher for middle school for 11 years and 8 years at the college. And I'll be going back into being over high school here coming up. And also was a youth pastor, XYZ. So I'm familiar with it, but I want to hear you all's take on how do you provide I guess the groundwork for our kid to know. We're talking about males in this particular regard of what purpose is, right? So we'll start with you, Minden Eden, since you brought it up, and then everyone else can just chime in where you will.
Well, I believe truly that God has created all of us to solve a problem that we were designed to solve. So if I believe that, then what I try to do, not only with my son and my daughter as well, but with the young men that God has put in my path, is get them to really think about 3 things. Who are you? Why are you here? And where are you going? Right? The who are you? Those are the gifts that God has given us. Why are you here? That's the purpose. And then where are you going? That's that ultimate vision that God has given each and every one of us. So the problem is when it comes to purpose, a lot of people don't think about it. They live in we're talking about a fatherless community, so they don't even see purpose. They don't see vision. Their environment is not conducive to that. So when I see that, I start to get them to start thinking about that stuff early, right? And when you start to get them to think about it at first, it can be overwhelming, because what you realize is that when you look at a lot of adults haven't thought about why they were specifically designed. So their purpose is to work for somebody else's purpose, and what they end up doing is drifting all throughout life, never finding out why God designed them specifically. So what I try to get the young people to realize is that the future that you're seeking is not ahead of you, it's actually inside of you. And what the word tells us to do is seek ye first the kingdom of God and all its righteousness, and then everything is added unto you. So it's that step-by-step process that I try to get them to understand. But just by getting them to think about it, by getting them to ask themselves those questions, looking themselves in the mirror, and really trying to focus on, okay, why in the world am I here? To me, that just changes the game.
And anybody can chime in. So we're talking about how do you get a kid to understand or how to find their purpose?
Yeah, from my experience, my son is uniquely gifted. So he is just like his dad. He beats on his own drum. So if I tell him to go left, he's going to go right. That is just my boy, right? So the thing that I have to do is again, to kind of going back to what I mean by like that, creating that environment and just pay attention to him. And the way that I raised him was really more like hands on, hands off, hands on, hands off, turn, hands off, let him go, turn, pivot, whatever. And it was very not, I didn't do anything forceful with him just so he can develop on himself. And I'm actually seeing purpose come naturally without me touching him to do whatever. So it's like I pay attention to like his interests. I'll, add fire to it, whatever. And then he goes in a different direction and like, oh, whatever. Like that doesn't work, you know. But it's like over the, he's 9 now, but like over the years, I started to see things that he naturally started to gravitate. And then at that moment is when I start kind of coming in closer. It's like, is this the one? Is this the one? And then I get a little bit closer to whatever it is that he's working on. And then that purpose for him, it starts to take shape. So now he's naturally saying things like, hey, you know what? I think I want to be a computer programmer. I think I'm being called to, be a golf pro. I want to be a chef. Like he's starting to naturally start to say these things. And none of those things I asked him to do, by the way. Everything I wanted him to do, he doesn't want to do any of that, But it is a joy to see like what you're saying, Mendon Eden, to see that purpose coming out of your kid, and you're guiding that and you're watching that. And I worked in radio industry and the entertainment industry, and he's going in a completely different direction. Maybe not completely. He's gifted in music. So but for me it's more like just kind of paying attention to him and then just nurturing where he wants to go. And I know that's kind of weird. I've had other parents kind of say like, oh, you're foolish, but it's like I'm preparing for that teenage years when, he's going to be like, why are you forcing me, dad, and stuff like that. And I just kind of create boundaries and rules and ask him like, why are you doing this now? Like, for example, if I want him to do better in school, I'll let him fail. Not school, but I'll let him go to school without doing his work and let him feel that now. I did that to him when he was like six years old, and he didn't like it. So now he won't do it again, right? Because he had his own experience. Mm-hmm. So I feel like that the experiences that he's having naturally, then that's when God is like creating whatever relationship God is doing with my son. God is doing that, and it's not really me per se. All I'm doing is just what you had mentioned. Someone mentioned like guiding, and just that's really what I'm doing. And I'm seeing him naturally kind of create that. I'm seeing purpose is naturally being created that way. So I'm agreeing with what you're saying. Is that's just how I'm seeing it as he is 9 today. So
what is purpose, right? Does your child have a purpose of their own, or is your purpose theirs?
Oh,
right.
Yeah.
Right. No. This is just a general question. I'm not trying to direct at nobody. Right. See, this, in my humble opinion, right? Everybody use purpose like it's employment. Well, what are you going to be? What are you going to do? Right? Every one of y'all purpose, every single one of y'all count on this purpose is to extend your life through your children. Every single one of y'all. Everything else is just fluff and extra. How you put food on the table, right? And the thing about purpose is that if you touch it too much, if you try to get, it's like butterfly wings, right? So I'm a firm believer in this. Your child's life is their own. My children don't live for me, right? So like I said earlier, my job is to teach them the rules of the game. That's my job. My job is to hone my sons to know when he see it, this is what it is. Right? If a person or an action is not doing this, you need to do this. But their purpose is their own. Because there's only one you. Your purpose has nothing to do with your job, your career. That's nothing. That's how you eat. Your purpose is to find a worthy mate. So genetically, you get a woman or a man that's compatible with you, and you teach your children how to time travel effectively. So again, your child purpose is your own. Your child is going to grow up and be their own person. One day, mom and daddy not going to be as important as they is right now when they got to make lunch. They're going to live their own lives. You got to teach them how to navigate that correctly. That's your purpose.
Who's next? Dwayne, are we going in order?
So I mean, I'll
Go ahead,
kind of jump.
prototype.
I'll
Yeah,
jump
yeah.
in, right?
Bet.
So the purpose thing throws me off as well. Like I kind of agree with Rick on that. Like we're just here to, have a family, keep things moving. You know what I'm saying? Teach your kids how to follow God. That kind of stuff. I don't think the purpose is necessarily a magical thing. How I understand the text is, everybody was just having a family, living life, and then God came along and was like, "Hey, I need you to do something." You know what I mean? So you do the work that's in front of you, but seeking out a huge purpose or anything, or why am I here, or anything like that. You're really just here just to live your life, follow God, believe in Christ. Keep it simple, keep it funky. You know what I mean? Trying to look in the mirror and try to do some magical thing on where like, oh, what was I here to create or something like that. I think that's complicating when it doesn't need to be. You know what I'm saying? So have a family, keep it moving, follow God, believe in Christ. And if God needs you to do anything extra, he'll call you to do it. So I mean, you can't run from it because he's just going to be like, "Hey, I need you to do this," and you're going to be like, "Oh, okay." He's going to interrupt your regular life and be like, "Do this now," and then you keep it moving that way. So that's kind of how I feel about the purpose thing, and teaching your kids about purpose. You know, like Uncle said, like their life is their own for the most part, and however they function is just you just trying to just keep them out of the way. You know what I mean? Look, don't get arrested. Stay out of this. This is going to lead you here. Give them the rules to the game, and and that's basically it.
So
Go ahead,
Go ahead.
D.
Yeah,
no, I
please.
was gonna say, I teach my kids, or I have taught this at this point, how to think for themselves, basically, so they can naturally evolve. My oldest son, he worked with tools as far as gifts and talents. I think that's natural. Like we all have some type of natural ability, and that's gonna unfold for you if you exploring yourself. So the main thing I teach them is to figure out who they are, as their place in the world, and that's gonna come from looking within. I don't subscribe to any particular religion. I am spiritual, and I teach my kids that the same. And my 14-year-old knows his purpose, and he says it's exactly what Ricky said, to create a family, and not just to have kids, but a legacy, so he can see his self through his children and their children. And I think that that's amazing. And that's just from teaching him to know himself and love himself. And my oldest son is a mechanic, and he shows signs of that as a, I'm sorry, that's me. Somebody downstairs doing something. But he shows signs of that as a little boy. And he's been exploring it. He's also into horticulture. So I would say explore yourself. I'm a jack of all trades. So I didn't want them to be like me because that was confusing for me. Now I would say my purpose is whatever I'm passionate about. So find your passion as far as purpose, whatever you love doing and that you do naturally and how you can serve. I think we are here for others and not just ourselves. And when you discover yourself, you will figure it out. What's your place in the world? So I find peace personally, and I teach them to look within and share without.
On you, DJ.
Man, so the way I look at it, Men in Eden, you said it earlier. Train up the child in the way of the Lord. Am I mistaken? You were the one who said that, right? Man, I strongly believe that. And it says, so when he grows up, he shall not depart from it. Ultimately, for me, I find out that's like the cheat code for me. Like at the end of it, it's your mind, and it's a crazy game that this world is playing because it wants to control your mind in every aspect. But it says you should love your Lord your God with all your heart, your mind, your soul, and your strength. Your mind is a very important component. So I would like, as for my purpose first and foremost is to lead my child to God. Hey, I am deficient in so many places, but let me lead you to somewhere that is going to be sufficient. This is what you need, and all you need, and every little burdens and all the little things that will be thrown at you, you will be able to handle it once you're onto this rock right here. That is my purpose as a father, is to then pass on. And to me, it's like whenever you find a good thing, you just want to, you don't get the lamp and hide it under the bed. You take it to the highest hill. So like as we're passing on to generations to generation, ultimately that is what it is, because you shall know them by their fruits, right? So when we talk about the individual, you're going to see how they're going to impact their community, and then the city. Then it just ripples effect. And I look at it like that. So as for instilling the love of God and the fear of God into my children, like and I have to first and foremost lead by example. So acknowledging God, and then He'll set your path straight. So that's as for purpose. Ultimately, it's like, hey, I found something good, and it's good forever. Here you go.
One thing I would say is that in order, like everyone said, finding your purpose, it's one of those things that they have to do on their own. So in order for them to do that on their own, I feel like they need to be taught how to, I think someone said, basically, stop looking for it externally. You need to be able to you need to find it internally, because it's inside you. It's not out there. You have to learn how to focus. You need to learn how to listen to yourself. You need to instill the confidence in them that when they hear themselves speaking to them, they believe that over anything else, that's being thrown at them. Like you said, all of this external pressure, and you should do this and you should do that. And, oh, you're so good at this, but that's not what I want to do. But maybe I should, because that's what you said. No, they need to learn how to focus, listen to that quiet voice inside of them, be quiet long enough to hear it and pay attention to it and follow it.
That's good. Y'all are so serious today. Okay. All right. Maybe that's intentional. I don't know. Maybe because of the subject matter. So, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to reach out dad jump. You feel me? Okay.
Oh, Lord.
Right. Well, did you say you wanted to read one?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
Okay. All right, here's the first one. Okay. Why did the pony ask for a glass of water? Anybody?
You got me.
Because it was a little horse.
Because what?
It was a little horse.
Somebody with the soundboard.
Yeah, Ricky, come on. I know you got something over there.
Cue the crickets, Ricky.
Waka.
Hey, that was really good answers, though. I like the fact that everybody has their perspective, and it's always good to hear what other people have to say, because you can always glean from each other is what I've found, because in the beginning we talked about being that example as a what a father is. He's an example, and so when my kids ask me, like my sons have found to see that I'm a very analytical individual, and I ask a lot of questions. Right? If you've been around me long enough, you'll find that out. And so my children are analytical to some degree, right? And so Joshua, who is my oldest son, and I've shared this before, he'll ask me questions such as, "What is it like being a dad? What is it like being a husband? What regrets do you have?" He's the individual that doesn't want to go play basketball or anything like that. He just want to sit and have a conversation about manhood. Right? Ethan, he's the kid that just wants to have fun all the time. Right? So he learns a different way. Like he would rather, he wants to go out and do things. Today we just I think it was Rashad that said, I try to pour into where his interest is. I think that's a really good starting point for sure. Because if you're able to get that early, then you can see if you like it, right? And then if you don't, you can quickly kind of get away from it, as opposed to tarrying that. So Ethan, he wants to be a scientist. He enjoys robotics, right? He found that out today and asked him why does he like it, and he's like, well, I like Transformers and I like cars and I like. He wants to find out. He wants to figure out how to build a car, right? And so I am. He's going to be in robotics class when he gets to school. Joshua, he's a gamer. When I tell you, you know how you say your kids be like, I want to play video games. You be like, that's too much, right? Well, with Josh, it's hard to say no because it's what he wants to do, like for a living type deal. You know what I'm saying? He wants to do other things, but he's so good at that. And then you have Gianna, who loves to cook. She loves to bake. She's an avid reader, and she loves animals. So my wife Kendra found an adoption agency for dogs where she's going to go volunteer, and she crazy about it already, filling out applications and whatnot. And then Jordana, who's 5, don't know just yet, right? But putting your kid in a point of the things that they like, similar to what Dia was saying, I think that will be a natural progression in finding their purpose if you give them example of that you're following yours, right? And also that you're putting them into what they want to do, and not necessarily saying, okay, I like this for you, so you do this. Because you don't want that to be a rebellion type of situation. So really good dialogue. Those were my takeaways. So as you're thinking about the things that we're talking about, it's going to be a new segment to tonight's show. I'm going to ask you to give me like a 20 to 30-second takeaway. So what's some takeaway from today's conversation? So we're going to get into some things that may be controversial. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, because y'all seem to be kind of controversial. You know what I'm saying? I'm just kidding. All right. So the question that I want to talk about is, who creates fatherless homes? Who creates fatherless homes?
Well, y'all going first?
Whoever want to go first can go first. And we just going to dialogue. So this is on y'all.
So men create fatherless homes. The seed comes from us. So if we not putting out the seed, it would never be created. So yeah, I think it's that easy. But men create fatherless homes.
I like what you just said at Prototype, because I had this conversation. It was actually about abortion a couple of weeks ago, and I was asked my opinion on it, and I said, well, my opinion is simple. I'm not talking to anybody besides the men. If the men don't, like you said, if the men don't spill the seed, then we won't have the issues that we have now. The thing is order. Like everything is just out of order. And I think a Prototype said it early, where marriage is supposed to be, where children come from, right? So to me, the family starts with the husband and the wife. That's first and foremost, right? And then from there comes the children. So if we would get things back in order the way that they were intended to be, the way that they were supposed to be, things you would start to see how quickly things, start to align. Nobody and really you see it in different cultures, right? So if you look at the statistics, 7 out of 10 in the African American community are fatherless. That's a lot. 7 out of 10. Now, when you go into the white community, 8 out of 10 have both parents. So something has happened, especially in our community and minority communities, really within the past 50 years. Because when you go before the civil rights movement, what you see is that that wasn't the case. So what has happened, within the last 50 years with the training, with the teaching, with the environment, that has caused us to have such a high number of households without fathers.
Anybody else? Am I?
Who's somebody's off of mute? Dwayne, you about to go?
I was, Miss Steve. You want to go? Go ahead.
Am I echoing?
You're
I
good
don't
now.
hear.
Oh, okay. Well, to elaborate on what Menden Eaton said, I'm thinking the first thing that came to mind for me was the environment that I grew up in. And it was a lot of women that kept the fathers away from the children because of the inability to provide. Not just because of the inability to provide, but that was huge, or just bitterness. And I think a lot of it is that, like, a lack of maturity. I don't want to necessarily say just having children out of wedlock, because that is subjective. It's you determine that. However, you need to be mindful when choosing a partner. And I think it's a lot of bitter women that keep fathers away from their children, not understanding that it's not just about the financial aspects of things. That fathers play a very important role in other areas, not just financially, although he should be able to do that. That's not a reason to keep him away from his kids. And another thing that he said was I don't believe the narrative, because there are still now, from as I'm older, a lot of fathers that are in households that are not being counted. I think that's projection now. So I kind of lost my train of thought, but that's where I was going. When you first asked the question, I initially just thought about a lot of the fathers that I know. The mothers keep their children away from the fathers intentionally, out of bitterness, unfortunately.
Yeah, and that was a similar direction I was going to go. I was going to say I was both, because it's so I was thinking about this the other day, and I think some of these we see these red flags, right? And some of them go after that red flag like a bull, just like that. They see the red flag and they ain't got
A bull is trying to destroy the red, though.
They still going after it. It don't matter. They're still going after it. And that's something that attracts them. So I think we talked about this the other day too, as for toxicity. Some people are attracted to toxic. Why? Especially whenever you're being brought up in those environments, why wouldn't you be attracted to it? So I say both from a standpoint. Men don't have men in their lives, therefore they don't know how to be men. Women don't have the men in their lives, therefore they struggle on what that looks like to even respect a man. So you get these two people together, and the culture is then telling them what love is, what all these things is, right? So they're just following and doing. It's working as designed. It's working as designed, honestly and truly. So I'll say it's both, because men, they get put in a position where it's easier for them to dip out, right? They don't have, as for responsibility, accountability. No. And we talk about like women don't know how to be accountable. I believe the culture is causing men to behave the same, lack that level of accountability, where they don't have to stick around and take care of their kids. It's easy to just dip out. And not only that, the women are now allowing that to then happen. I'll say allowing. Why would you then sit there and lay with somebody who you know, right? Just for instant gratification. But then that's another trap, is that instant gratification. So as a millennial, that instant gratification, we got the internet is fast, it's quick, dating, speed dating, and all these things that we doing now. So it's like, man, it's just allowing people to hook up and just sample and just go about their way. If a kid slip up in the process, hey, you don't have to take accountability. We got abortions, we got a plan B, we got this, we got that, we got grandmama. We good. We still going to be able to live our lives. That's how I see that our culture looks at it, both men and women. So until women are able to then women up, and men are able to man up. And whenever I say that, it's like there's only one good, and that goodness comes from God. So like once they are able to get on that alignment, we're gonna be continually out of alignment. But guess what? Just like Ricky said sometime, it's gonna be the best of the best. The creme of out of alignment. You're gonna love it.
Creme de la creme.
I know we're
Right?
not still trying to hold women accountable.
I was
Yeah,
gonna
it's
say,
not. Look. It's not about holding them accountable, but everybody plays their part in these things, right? That's the problem. At the end of the day, okay. See this. This why I keep telling y'all. Somebody's lying. Proto. Somebody's lying, right? So it's either women are not capable of making sound choices and decisions, of choosing a correct partner, a child's father, right? So if that's the case, somebody's lying, right? How can a partnership, right? At the end of the day, a marriage is a partnership to bring two people to one, right? How can one person not be accountable when both sides make up one singular entity, right? So, like I said, if men are meant to be the head, if men at the end of the day are going to be responsible for everything that goes right or wrong in a relationship, we need to start having different conversations. This boss bitch, I make money, I get that shit, it got to stop. No one should be advocating that. If you're a real woman,
Did you hear what I said?
if you a real woman, and you understand that the purpose of this thing is when you have a child, right? When you have a child, and the betterment is for not just y'all, but for that child to be a better version of y'all, right? Again, to teach them the right way to time travel, to take your name and make it greater down the line. Oh, I don't need no daddy. Single mothers are the best. That's a lie. I could survive without his father. They'll be all right. It's better to be drama free without him. That's a lie. Somebody's lying. What I'm sick of is, why do our people continue to reinforce a lie? The only reason you reinforce a lie is because something that lie brings benefits you. And you don't care how it shorts everybody else. You don't care. So I'm sick of this argument. Oh, black women, y'all don't give a fuck about no kids. It's about y'all. Somebody's lying. And every day, on every piece of media I can find, from TV to Facebook to whatever y'all want to talk about, I see our women cheerleading bullshit on the regular. I see our men condoning, oh, well, you know what I'm saying? Hey, I couldn't be with her, da-da-da, woo-woo. But everybody for the community, right? It's the white man's fault. Somebody tell me I'm crazy, please.
I think it's a lack of self-respect.
I
And
think they're incentivized to create
yeah, benefits and privileges.
they are
Mindy Eden
incentivized.
said that. I'm sorry,
Yeah,
John.
it's okay. These days they're incentivized to create fatherless households. Plain and simple.
Who is the they that you're referring to? They're incentivized.
Um, I will say it's mostly. I mean, obviously, it's the mothers that are incentivized to create these fatherless households, and it's not. Sometimes it's the man wants to be in his kid's life, and they're better. They'll be better off financially if he's not, or she'll get more of this, or she'll get a house, she'll get this, she'll get a reality show. All of those things. They are incentivized to keep these men away from their children. Tell me they're not.
Look, I say this all the time. Women are only faithful and only loyal to their best
That's not
options. You know what I'm saying? That's it. They're going to do whatever their best option is. And if you as a man can't be a better option than subsidized housing, then that's on you. You know what I'm saying? If you as a man can't be better than welfare or big daddy government, that is on you. You know what I'm saying? Not being a better option than that, you know what I mean? Not being her best option. They're only loyal to that. And we got to stop expecting women to come to the aid of the community, to come to the aid of leadership. That's not their role. They're going to do what's best for them every day. You know what I'm saying? So holding women accountable is absolutely, I don't want to say it like this, but it's asinine. We got to stop this and had a conversation of men, get on your ding, stop spreading your seed irresponsibly. You know what I'm saying? When you marry a woman, she takes your name. After you get married, y'all are Mr. and Mrs. Prototype. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah, you're not partially her name or none of that. She becomes what you are. So it's we got to stop with it. Like, you know what I'm saying? They can't do it. They absolutely cannot do it. And expecting them to be accountable is just, it's retarded at this point.
Hold on real quick, Dwayne. Toya, I want you to get in. I want y'all to give y'all a take on this. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, actually, yeah, it's a whole lot.
There she go.
I feel like Ricky and Prototype dropped the mic already. So a couple of mics. So when I first heard the question, I was kind of leaning towards it's both. You know, it's a collaborative effort. But then as I kind of started thinking a little bit more, I think it's a percentage. You know, someone was posting up a lot of stats. Antoine, shout out to Antoine for the stats, by the way. So when I was thinking about the percentages, I was sitting here thinking like, I think it's a sliding scale. I think men are just a little bit more responsible for the fatherless homes than women are, even though it's a joint effort. Just because, you know, like men's discipline and leadership and all that has to come into play first. It's like we're supposed to be the leaders and the heads and whatnot. So I feel like if a fault or blame is supposed to be given to someone, then unfortunately it comes to the men, I think, first. And I think Prototype, you mentioned that. And I think the solution is exactly what Menden Eden said. What he's doing with his kid is teaching purpose early. I think that's what he was alluding to is, men growing up without purpose, and they are just kind of feeling nature rise when they, as they grow. If they don't have purpose, then they're gonna go where nature is calling them. And I think that's the issue that we're seeing here is men not having purpose, and women are reflecting what men are doing. Because if you look at history, women really did, tried to honor the man for, thousands of years. And really the whole feminism movement started thousands of years ago, if you really think about it. And it just come to a head where it's like women are just in general in this culture fed up. And it's really a reflection and attack against all masculinity now. Because at first it was toxic. Now it's like, shoot, I opened up a door for a lady the other day, just being nice. And you don't have to do that. It's like, you can't even be a nice guy anymore. So I do think that it is both, but I say men little bit more are held responsible for that, because we're supposed to be the leaders, and we need to be a little bit more disciplined in that area. So,
Dwayne, did you go? Because
Yeah, I already went.
I'm gonna go after you. You already went?
No, I just had a question. Like, as for leadership with amongst women, like, women can lead other women, right? So I mean, like, where is that? Like, from a cultural standpoint, like, where are the women leader? Like, if we were to say like a pop in pop culture or whatever, like, who is that? Who is that figure for women on a populist world stage, or just that they
The
could
one
look
that's
up?
closest that I can think of is Priscilla Shire. That's one. But it's then there is one but people kind of against her right now. The white girl that what's her name? They call her the
Pearly.
white, Pearly
Yeah,
was one. So
See, but this what I'm talking about though, right? My shout out to Rose. Shout out to a Rose from the rubble.
you did.
Right? Look, there's universal laws that cannot be broken, diverted from, or ignored. So, really, at the end of the day, what is the purpose of a man? What is the purpose of a woman? And this was crazy. Y'all need to listen.
Did you hear what I said?
The purpose of a man is to find a woman, build a family, protect, provide, home, teach to travel. Right? The entire problem is the woman was supposed to be worth that. And it was a simple understanding and courtesy for women to know this game we all play with each other, this game of life. So I don't care what no man say. Everything a man do is to catch a woman. Purpose, your purpose, get the bag, That's so you can have your tools together. So when you find a woman that's right, the woman who has the options that you want, that you have everything together to say exactly what the mod minute to provide a space. So can we say at large, on a mass scale, that the women that are out here right now are worthy of that space? Because if that's not the case, if every day, and I said this before, right, that y'all as ladies look at these women out here and y'all be like, ugh. Y'all as women be looking at them side out like, when you rob men of purpose, what's the point really? I don't need you. You don't need me. We had these conversations like it don't come up. Like, Prototype ain't a rare dude. Like, Humble Dad's not a rare dude. Like, Menden and Dwayne is not a rare breed. That Ahmad's not, that we have these. What's the real issue? We here talking because we see a lack of black love and black marriages on a grander scale than what's just in your neighborhood. So what is going on that we're robbing each other of our purposes? And y'all think it's going to get better? Y'all think by saying that one party in all this thing is the only one that's accountable and responsible? Then what's the point of a woman being correct? Right? We hear these arguments, right? And this ain't no diss to anybody that say that. I'm just pointing it out. Be patient with a woman. Give her time, right? She's out here hard in the world. But at the same point, they say, hey, you know what woman you was dealing with? So if women are not required to be better, how's a man going to become better? This is a universal law. When it rains, you get mud outside. Right? A peacock has beautiful feathers and dance around and make noises to get that booty. Right? And that male peacock has to protect them eggs, right? Until the babies come. That's what I keep saying. Don't nobody really care about no babies. Y'all care how to make them. Y'all care about the interactions in between each other to do it, but y'all don't care about no babies. Y'all selfish. We have an epidemic of selfishness. But what the fuck do I know?
I think that's a man. I hate going after Ricky. Okay, right? But I want to add to this. I think the information was given. I think it was Ahmad that said he gives more credence to the man because they're the leader. All right. So I was having this conversation with a lady the other day about who is responsible for sex, and hopefully everybody would answer it's the woman. There cannot be any sex taking place unless the woman says yes. Okay. So when the woman says no, if the dude decides to have sex with her, then that's going to be a problem. The reason why I want to cast blame, if we're going to use that word, is because there needs to be a change where, like, if we keep saying both, then neither are going to necessarily change, right? So when you're speaking to the masses, there needs to be a starting point because guys are going to always ask the woman, "Can I have sex with you?" Otherwise, guys know this, women may not, but the time that I come and approach you, I want to have sex with you. I may be thinking, okay, I want to get to know you, but the reason why the guy approaches a woman is because at the end of the day, he wants to have sex with her. Okay, so therefore, it is up to her to say no. And if she says no, he cannot do anything. And then if she does say yes, she should have done her homework on this dude to say if he is fit enough to be a husband, or just wait till he says, "Why don't you be my wife?" I think it's especially in and I'm a believer. Okay, Dwayne to tell you, you know what I'm saying. Me and the text, we deep in it. You know what I'm saying. And I studied the text. I preached it for a long time. But I think a lot of people that consider themselves Christian hold men they hold them responsible, but they negate that women are a part of the problem. Right? I was having a conversation, and this is my dialogue, I guess, on my soapbox, that if Eve did not do what she did, Adam wouldn't have even probably did what he did. Okay, so the fall became because the instruction was given to Adam, but it's not like Eve didn't have the instructions either, right? So what I'm saying is that when we say that, I am saying that the majority of it is right now is on women to close their legs and say, listen, if you're not talking about, and I'm gonna tell you why, prototype, okay? And I don't talk a long time typically, right? Dwayne, but me and you have one-on-one conversations. Ricky, me and you have one-on-one conversations.
Give him the floor. Give him the floor.
Y'all already know, right? But I think it's important for grown women to start teaching these young ladies that they need to be ladies, that you need to be like, listen, sweetheart, the dude that you're going to sleep with this dude, but you're not going to make him your husband. He's not going to be, so he gets to get the goods before he gets to get everything else. Now, mind you, prototype, I want you to understand this. Currently, women are raising the young boys. You know that, right? So you're saying we talked about what a father is. You know, I always ask the question with an end in mind. We're saying that it's the men's fault, but they're being raised by a woman that don't know how to teach a man to be a man. So how can you blame the man, right, in this regard for doing exactly what he is conditioned to do in our sinful nature or even in just being a man? We're trying to go get it. Sex, that is. The woman is responsible for who has sex and who doesn't. The reason why fatherless homes happens, if you go back, and even Menden Eden even talked about it, right? He talked about feminism came into play. And when feminism came into play, it was a result of women having sexual liberation. So that's on the woman to say no to sex. Because as Ricky alluded to, that men are doing things based on what type of woman they can get. And so if a woman says no, then the guy has to adjust. Okay. Women, also, let me give you this caveat for those that never heard me say this. Just because the guy slept with you doesn't mean you qualify for that caliber of guy as a husband. I'll say it again what I mean. If a guy is an 8 and he sleeps with you, or a 9 or a 10, that doesn't mean that he's thinking about you being a wife. Okay? And so I was talking about to this lady. She thinks that she deserves a 9 or a 10 as it relates to money, looks, six pack, all of that jazz, right? I said, you realize that you want what every other woman wants. And so what's going to set you apart? She had no idea. So once again, I'm saying it is the woman's responsibility of why fatherless homes exist. But to continue, if we go talk about Nick Cannon, right? He is responsible because that he's responsible for laying seeds, right? However, these women say yes to him having sex with them without a condom. If they say no, he can't have kids. That's what I'm saying. And by the way, if you check the stats, did y'all know that 59% of black women would have 59? How to go? 59% have children with more than one father. 59% more than one father. So I can see, you know, you make it's a mistake at the beginning, but then you do it again, then that's recklessness, and you continue the cycle of fatherlessness. Anybody want to add? Go ahead.
I have a question because
that's what we're here for.
Because all right, so I definitely understand what everybody's saying. However, when it comes to the women that we're talking about today, right? Then the question is, well, where were their fathers, right? So a lot of these women, and again, I get it. I definitely work with a lot of these young girls now who they don't have the role models at home, right? They don't have the father to look up to. So again, even with the women that are acting out, because that's what it is, they're acting out. They're trying to find their way in this world. They're trying to figure this thing out. Where are their fathers, their role models that can speak life into them? Most of them don't have them, right? So then what then happens? What we're seeing now is a generation who didn't have that to look up to, and now they're turning to each other, and it's kind of like the blind leading the blind. So social media, TV, you know, they're looking at actresses, you know, musicians who they're trying to follow, and what everybody's failing to realize is that, you know, when you go back and you look at the Greek, the word actor came from the term hypocrite, right? So hypocrite, you know, everybody now has become an actor. So it's as if women and men, we're both trying to play a role. We're trying to become a character. That's why I keep talking about purpose. You know, I know it's not, it may not be a popular topic, but the reason why I talk about purpose is because everybody lacks it. You know, men lack purpose. Women lack purpose. You know, there's a huge alignment issue that is not taking place, and that's where all the chaos is, right? So it's going to continue to become chaotic until everybody as an individual decides to really get themselves in alignment. It is an individual thing at the end of the day. So when we're talking about the fatherless home, I do tend to go more towards the male, and this is really the reason why. I grew up where my father was there, but he was absent. My mother naturally wanted to be a good wife. My mother naturally wanted to be a good mother. Women are nurturers by nature, right? So in that nurturing stage, there's a part of them that sometimes naturally they want to be a good person. They want to be a good wife. They want to be a good mom, right? It's the exterior that they have created due to something that most of the time happened in their past. People just don't become something. A lot of times something has happened to them. They've seen something, they've experienced something, and now they have become something else other than what they were designed to be. And that's why I'm big on purpose. I saw my mom go through a marriage with my father who, pretty much destroyed her mentally. He was there and he treated her as if she was a child. And I would ask my dad once I got older, why he would do that, why he would act a certain way. And what my father told me was this. My father told me that's how he saw his dad, right? So what has happened when we go back and we look at the past, what we forget now as men, and this is why for me, I do talk to men more so than I talk to the women, because it is the understanding that I feel like we need to get to. What happened years ago is that women didn't have any authority. Women didn't have any power. So what a lot of the girls saw was their mothers growing up and their mothers being mentally abused or physically abused. I used to be a domestic abuse counselor. So, I can't even tell y'all the stories that I've heard, that I've seen, that I have gone through, right? And then the girls grow up and they see that. And in their minds, they're like, I'm not gonna replay what my mother did. I'm not gonna be this cookie cutter wife and try to give this man everything and then he takes it from me, right? So that's why I'm big on men getting in alignment first, because if we really push towards why we are here in the first place, push towards why God created us in the first place, what were we designed to do, then choosing the right partner becomes easier, because we know what that discipline looks like. And discipline, what happens with discipline, we know who not to talk to, we know what books not to read, we know what shows not to watch, because nothing of that becomes beneficial to us and the direction that we want to go in. So like I talked about the journey, when you are on this journey, that's called life. A lot of times what happens is we get off of our journey and our path to try to bring somebody onto our journey. That never works. But if you stay on your journey, your path, and your purpose, what ends up happening is you don't have to get off of your journey to get somebody, because you're going to run into somebody. So you don't have to run to somebody. And that's the thing that is going on right now, is that we're getting desperate. Men are getting desperate. Women are getting desperate. I can guarantee y'all that the women that are acting like that alone, they're not that person. See, everybody wears a mask. We all do it. We all come out the house, we put on a mask, and we become a version of ourselves to be able to live and to survive. But when we come home and we take off that mask, who you allow other people to see is not really you, because nobody knows who they are. And that's the problem that we're having as a society. And the only way to get that fixed is to really understand the alignment part. Everybody was created to be together. Men and women were created to be together. I am a big believer of the Bible. God said everything was good. The only thing he said that wasn't good was when man was alone. So when God created Eve, she was already in companionship. Of course, we were created to be together, but now we're so divided, we're so separated, and we're listening to the wrong people. We're not listening to each other. We're listening to these actors, these actresses, that when they go home, they're not who you see on TV. So now we are in a completely divided world, and we continue to hone in on a lot of the different issues that at the end of the day, that's all they are. They're just issues. Even with the whole Nick Cannon thing, it is a big issue from somebody it's only an issue because he has money. If he doesn't have money, he's a nobody. Just another man spreading a lot of seed, creating a lot of babies who aren't going to have a father, and they're going to become another statistic. So how do we, this is why I really like this panel, just sitting back, listening to everybody, because I think that there's an opportunity here to kind of heal the divide and stop saying, well, this is men and this is women. How do we actually heal this divide? Because really what's going on is everybody's hurting. Women are hurting. Men are also hurting. So how do we heal that divide between the man and the woman so we can ultimately get back to what we were intended to do, which is have thriving, prosperous families? If we go back to the top 3 things that we were supposed to do in the beginning, be fruitful, multiply, and subdue the earth, not dominate each other. We're too busy trying to dominate each other that we lack the purpose and the direction to be able to dominate the things that we're supposed to dominate, which is what we get gifts for. So I'm just
let me ask you a question real quick, because I've had this conversation a lot, and then I'm gonna give the panel an opportunity. I have 2 sons, I have 2 daughters, right? Okay, so if they come to me and ask me, they say, Dad, can we go to the water park? Who's responsible for saying yes? Me or the kids?
You.
Okay, so I'm the one that holds the yes.
Mm-hmm.
And kids are manipulative, as we know, if you have any.
Mm-hmm.
But it's still, at the end of the day, my responsibility to say yes or no.
Absolutely.
Okay. If we go, it's a result of me saying that we can go.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a very similar process. And when I'm talking about, when we talk about women being able to say no to sex, because women have become the point of, I'm gonna let you speak on it too, Prototype. Now, I'm not gonna teach my sons to like go and procreate unless unless it's your wife, right? But what I'm saying is, if you control the access to yes or no, because men have control of who gets married. You agree with that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So if there are less marriages, I can blame the men. If there's more sex going on, then I can blame the women. That's what I'm saying. Go ahead, Prototype.
As logical as a woman can come off and seem, she still has this part of her that's very emotional. And if you wave something shiny in front of her, you can manipulate that woman and doing whatever. Like, they can't help it. So you're sitting here talking about how they have the access to saying yes or no. And you're not wrong for that. But they still have this emotional element that men can tap into that will make them say yes or do things that, I don't know why I did that. They're just not accountable. You just can't give them that. Like, I understand that we want to, but they're not men. They don't think like us. You know what I'm saying? So giving them that kind of accountability to be like, well, you have this power and you're supposed to do X, Y, Z with it. A lot of men can't even control it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Just like, oh, it's your primal instinct to go and spread your seed all over irresponsibly. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, men have a hard time controlling themselves. So women definitely can't do it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if we even take it back to the Adam and Eve thing, you know what I'm saying? She got manipulated by a snake. You understand what I'm saying? The curse didn't come till God was like, hey, Adam, where was you? And he was like, it was the woman. You know what I'm saying? That's when God got mad and was like, all right, y'all gotta go. And then he set the order. Like, listen, since y'all don't know the order, this is the order. The man comes before the woman. You know, you are to follow. So we I don't know what else how else to put it, but women just can't, they're not responsible for that. I mean, it just is what it is.
Go ahead, DJ.
Yeah, man. Prototype, every time you say that, man, I got a problem with it. I do. Every time. Every time. I could only feel for the women.
Well, the women can always respond.
No, I know. But in that, I think to be held to account, I think at the end of the day, we all will be held account, right? So as much as you say, oh, they can't be held accountable, oh, they will. Oh, I guarantee it based upon my faith. Yes, not just them, but us as well. So we all will be held account. And I'm sitting there, I'm back to Ricky. You said something earlier. You were like, man, somebody's lying. Man, I know who's lying, right? We could guess all day and all that, but I know who's lying. It's the devil. It's the devil himself. And I'm gonna put it like this: like we say it in a joking manner, but we have dominion, right? The only way we could lose that dominion is if we give it up. So what we sitting here talking about? Giving something up, whether it's the seed or the egg or whatever, we giving something up, but ultimately it's giving up the dominion. So like when we buy into that lie, like Eve did, oh, but God said she knew, but God said if we did, we should surely die. And then what did the devil say? Did God really say? That right there make you double-minded. Now you don't know what is true. So it's easier to fall for that lie. It is what it is. So from a generational standpoint, we could buy lies for generation, So I look at it from the standpoint, man, men can be held accountable, women can be held accountable, but who holds them accountable? That's the thing. So as for spreading the gospel, we all will be held account, right? So it don't matter what you do in your closet, it don't matter what you do often, you will be held account. So for women, the Bible has an order. For men, the Bible has an order. So once again, you go outside of that order, like that's what we're witnessing today, right? And then there's so much lies that are being sold. People don't know what the heck's the truth. To be honest, like people don't know what the truth is. For me, the truth is the Bible, and I live it. I have to live it, and that's the thing about it. It's not something about talking about it. It's not about, oh, I saw that over there. No, it's about living it. And then once you see it, once your kids see it, once the other people around you see it, they'll see your good works and glorify your Father in heaven. And honestly and truly, like that God was the one who ordained the family.
Right,
if
right.
we want restoration to it, we have to then go back to the source, like y'all were saying earlier.
Right. And I kind of want to just kind of
go ahead.
I know you mentioned the Adam and Eve thing. So I do believe Adam was not only disciplined for eating the fruit, but I think God also said for listening to the wife too. So that's the reason why I kind of lean towards the man as whatever. If he can't say no to sex, that's like you're eating an apple. So I'm curious to think about what the situation would have been if Adam didn't eat the apple.
See, but this is what I'm saying, bro. Right. So again, with that, look, let's clarify. Everybody say if Adam would have went his own way, God never told none of y'all, the story of what would have happened if he went that way. If God is all knowing, didn't he see this happening? Right. So again, if we alleviate women from all responsibility, listen to what I'm saying. These conversations with women being equal, with women's rights, and these things that y'all think that y'all supposed to have as women, this bullshit need to stop. It needs to stop. Somebody's lying. Either you guys are capable human beings and are the most nurturing on the planet and the mothers of the universes, and you guys have intuition and are meant to guide the men the right way they're supposed to go. So we look at you as counsel and take you as such, or you guys are not responsible for anything. So that boss bitch, I need to get it this way. I don't need no man. I can do it. That shit gotta stop. And again, if we want to take it back to the Genesis, right? Men need to stop eating that bullshit. Men need to stop patting women on the back because she got a bag or I want a girl, out there again. No, that shit gotta stop. Somebody's lying. When are we going to stop lying? No matter what nobody say, right? We use the comparisons, right? At the end of the day, right? With the Caucasian couple, right? What they say, you want a white girl because she going to listen to you.
Did you hear what I said?
She gonna do what you say. She gonna talk in a soft voice. And whenever the BBC come in, she gonna have your rice and your gravy ready. With no seasoning, of course. Because no matter what y'all say, these other cultures understand the hierarchy of a relationship between a man and woman. Y'all need to stop lying. Either y'all can do it by yourself or you can't. And again, I said this before, and Humble Dad's my witness. We'll give y'all our daddies. We'll give you the grandfathers, the color purple. We'll give you that. That's not this no more. It's black men out here raising their families. So now we get right. Now y'all want to be on bullshit? Y'all got all these young men that now understand finding their purpose, working early, building something. But now y'all like, nah, y'all ain't good enough for us. It's a plethora of Chads, and y'all say y'all can go the other way, but Chad ain't picking y'all up like that. What is going? Somebody's lying. Somebody's lying. They don't stop saying they take that black women take their cues from men. No, they take their cues from each other. The black man has no say-so in the culture of things. None. The only say-so I have is within this house. How do y'all? This makes no sense to me. It makes none. Women are meant to be the angels of men. But y'all seen what happened to them angels when they didn't listen to the law, right? They became demons. Stop lying. Everybody, please, please, please stop lying. Pick a lie. That's all I've been telling y'all. Please pick a lie so that way we know when it's time to cut the tares from the wheat, we know who to cut down. This shit is sad, man, and it's stupid. It's so stupid.
I want to hear from the ladies. What y'all got on it?
Man, I want to say I think Menden Eden, he hit on a lot of points. I agree with a lot of things that he said, especially regarding individual accountability. Like, I think the problem is that we keep trying to blame each other, and we've experienced in our communities a lot of trauma that we looking to blame somebody for rather than taking accountability and responsibility for the aspects of it that are a reflection of us in order to incite change in our lives. We respond to pain. And I keep saying that, and I think that it's vital for us to understand that. That's the reason we usually grow. When things are fine and everything is perfect, we're not seeking anything different because we feel like we on the right track. Usually, pain, trauma are catalysts to the next level. So when we looking at each other, looking for somebody to blame for things that go wrong in our lives, rather than looking at those situations as a mirror to reflect who we are, the level we're on, and where we want to go, then we're gonna keep pointing the finger at each other. This is the conversation with who's gonna take the blame for what is counterproductive. We need to take individual responsibility for where we are in our lives. I can tell you a million traumatic situations. I can't hear you, Humble Dad.
No, I wasn't trying to interrupt. I'm just saying, I'm saying that's exactly what I'm saying to do. Women do not take responsibility for having multiple babies by multiple different daddies. Like, women don't take accountability. So what I'm saying, so this is what,
as well, though.
This is what I'm saying, though. Ms. D, this is what I'm saying, though. If a woman has multiple baby daddies, how can you say it's the multiple baby daddies' fault?
That's not what I'm saying in particular.
I know, and that's what I'm saying. What the problem is, that's what Ricky's saying. In order for change to take place, an individual has to take responsibility. Am I right? So if I'm telling you that you're wrong, then you need to be like, no, you're wrong. That's not going to work. You need to be like, you know what you're saying about where I'm wrong at is correct. And this is what I need to do to change that. But because I'm telling you you're wrong, you're so in the mindset of that I got to tell you that you're wrong too. So you're literally alleviating yourself and women, okay? Because men are going to get there's child support, there's jail, right? And there's not seeing your kid, which you said. Those are ways that men are punished, right? In that particular regard. Women are not held responsible for having children out of wedlock. They're not. Okay? That's why you have government assistance, you have baby showers, you have girl, I see you with the bum, with the, you know what I'm saying? I see you. You know what I'm saying? Keke Palmer was celebrated for having a kid out of wedlock. So was who was it? It was another lady too. Can't think of her name, but they were celebrated. Who? They were celebrated. And so instead of saying, you know what, that was not a good look, black women are saying, good job. Oh, look, she got that baby body.
No.
And then not only that, they told the baby daddy that he couldn't even say anything to her.
No.
So she still wasn't held accountable. Because she shouldn't have worn what she wore, if we want to go back there. Right? Because she's somebody's mother. I could possibly see it if she was not somebody's mother, or she never wanted to be somebody's mother. Because if you connect it to Freaknik, there are women like trying to sue them for showing it because they don't want nobody to see what they did at Freaknik. You see what I'm saying? They don't even want to be held accountable. So these y'all women that be talking about, y'all got to stop blaming. Stop blaming. No, we blame Adam. Is that not a blame? Okay, we blame Nick Cannon. We blame Nick Cannon. Do we not?
I don't.
And we blame Mindy Eden blamed his own father. Right? Those are men being held accountable. But where are the mothers being held accountable? That is what I'm saying. And so if women would get in line and say, listen, other women, y'all got to stop acting like y'all some heathens. Y'all need to go and find you a husband. Get your mind right and have the mind space of being a wife. And stop trying to focus on your career and know that your purpose is motherhood. Men, your purpose is fatherhood. Find you somebody that you can do that together with. Men are being held accountable. Women typically don't choose those guys, remember? That's one way of they being held accountable again.
Right.
So that's why I have this conversation. The absence of fathers has a lot to do with how women move. Women decide who dates who. Mm-hmm. Women decide who has sex with who. Men decide who gets married. That's what I'm saying. And we keep having these conversations. And at the end of the day, women, most, not all, right? Because there's never anybody on the panel, right, Rick? Don't hold women accountable. Even in this conversation, women are not saying, you know what? Women need to fall in line. They say, oh, it's both of us. And then the men are saying the same thing. No, it's the man. No, men can't decide who has the baby. Right. And I digress. If anybody don't want to say anything, we good.
Yeah. Men can decide who's having the baby.
Let Toya go.
I was going to say, you know, when I look back, because I don't know everybody's history and it doesn't matter. We can just think about it. But both of my parents came from a broken home. Both of my grandpas left my grandmas in the 50s, right? My parents got married and they said, we're going to do better than that. So they stayed together until I was graduated, left home, adult. My parents divorced when I was in my 20s. But their marriage was something like a friendship. I didn't see them romance. I didn't see them date. I didn't see communication. I didn't see all these things. So the point is, they went from a broken home to we're going to do better and stay married. And what I'm noticing is back then in the 50s, we had a lot of broken homes. We had a lot of dads leaving, right? And instead of the next generation saying, hey, we're going to try to do better, the best that we can do, it continued. That brokenness continued, right? Then the pride steps in with the women, because we're like, okay, these men, my grandma got left, my mama got left, and you know what? I can do it too. I was raised to say, Toya, make sure you have your own. Make sure you can take care of yourself. I was not taught to say, you know, you need to be a good wife. You need to learn how to nurture your husband. You need to be a good support system. So because I didn't learn those things, I walked into a marriage where I'm like, let me make sure I have mine to bring to my husband, but the respect wasn't there. The nurture wasn't there. The communication wasn't there. But I said, let me try to do better than my parents and have a friendship. So my parents were like, we're going to stay together, unlike our example. And now I'm like, I'm going to actually be friends with my husband and try to do better than what I saw. But what I'm seeing around me is more pride, more I'm going to do mine. If a man can leave, I'm going to leave too. If a man can have multiple baby mamas, why can't I do it? And that's the issue. So it's like, at what point it just takes one person to break the chain. Yeah. So when do you say, not only am I going to do better, I'm going to learn how to be, and that's where the relationship with Christ comes in, because I can't depend on a human to teach me how to do it the right way. We are all messed up. We are all broken. So that's where it's like, what is your real foundation? If it's your mama, she's going to let you down. If it's your best friend, they're going to let you down. The only solid foundation is Christ, and he shows you how to do it. And people don't like the word submission, but if you know what real submission is, you won't have a problem with it. Because today they're calling it the soft life. I said, what the heck is a soft life? That sounds like godly submission to me, but let's come up with a new word just to make you feel good when it is what it is. So my thing is, you have to make a decision to say, I see this and this is pride. Now, how am I going to do better? How am I going to do better? And I can't look at everybody around me because everybody's messed up. So what are you really, really going to do? And like I said, it's pride. Yeah. It is pride. It is pride. It is pride. I can do it. They going to do it. I don't care if that's a man. I can do what he's doing. Oh, man. I can get a job. I can run my house. I can take care of my kids. I can do all of that. And it's just like, it's foolish. It's foolish. And as Christians and as a married couple, it's like, I can talk all I want to, but I also want to be able to model that, because I know people are watching and I don't want to be fake. I want to be real. If I know I have problems, I want to work on those problems. I am very transparent about our issues. And I'm like, look, I'm not perfect. I'm just trying to show you possibly what it could look like, but your marriage is different. Your marriage is going to be different than your parents. It's going to be different than your best friends. You have to come together and figure out what's good for you. But without a foundation in Christ, blind leading the blind. Come on.
And I just wanted to say this. Travel One is a classic troll, but I always like addressing it because whoever it is, I don't know if it's a man or girl, makes it so easy. Because I don't know what it is, put in the chat, black men don't value black women's bodies. How can we value it if they don't value it? Like I said, it ain't about accountability. It's about what role you play. What's your goddamn job? It's a woman's job to be chased until the right man comes along. Now, if you want to admit that you don't know how to choose a right man, then we getting somewhere. Right? But everybody wants to sit up here and say, humble dad know what happened to me. Y'all learned last week what happened to me dealing with a black woman. And I don't demonize all black women. It was that one. I made an incorrect choice. That's accountability. Right? Toya just gave a great example of how she had bad examples, but still figured it out through Christ, or whatever means you had to do to get the warranted results. That's being an adult. That's finding your purpose. Your purpose is not your parents. Your purpose is not your grandparents. Whatever you got to do to be right, you should be doing it. Whatever you got to do to be right, no one's going to do it for you. God is within you. Right? So again, it ain't about what's your goddamn job. Ladies, what is your job? I asked this question, I don't know how many times. Ladies, what is your job? Everybody can tell you what a man's job is and what he has to provide and what he has to do and the space he has to provide. Ladies, what is your job? If it's to be cute, there's millions of y'all out there. If it's for a man to shoot up the club and that's it, it's millions of y'all. What is y'all's job? And like I said, the same reason they want to keep using the excuse of why you can't be with the man is the same excuse why a man can look at you and be like, you ain't worth marrying. You not worth me risking it all. Because the understanding of the contract is marriage is to protect that woman if a man's not responsible. Those are facts. And y'all keep looking for men to explain to a woman how to convince a man to risk it all for you. That's your job, ladies. And a lot of y'all not doing y'all jobs. And what's crazy is y'all expect to be applauded for it.
Oh man. Yeah. You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and tap on this one, but I just want to say, from the way I look at it, from male and female perspective, I love everything that y'all were saying. But we wrestle not against flesh and blood. We don't wrestle against each other. That's how I look at it, right? And that somebody say, "Oh, that's a cop out," but I do believe that we wrestle against principalities. We do wrestle against, like what you said earlier, Ricky. We do wrestle against the demons. So going back to the garden again, right? Temptation. We all get tempted in every last way. But how do we overcome that temptation? So we talk pride. That's it, right? Pride comes before the fall, for destruction. Pride. So hey, and we look at the world now. What's pride? We get a whole month to celebrate the world's pride, which is complete backwards, right?
That's crazy. We need to talk about this one day for real. Y'all see how they take God's covenant and make it their flag?
Their own. Redefine it. Marriage. Redefine it. Everything. Redefine it. God told Adam to name and define things.
Right. God put a rainbow in the sky, right? To show his covenant with humanity. And they make it their flag. When God tells you in the book, man should not lay down with man. Coincidence? I think not.
But how do we get that back? Is that something we fight for? Is that something we contend for? The faith?
No, I think you arrested with principality. Right? Again, we live in a society of acceptance because I don't care about your feelings. Y'all see what the hats say? I don't care about your feelings are yours and you are entitled to them. They're yours. Your feeling is your internal take on the perception at hand. And you're able to feel however you want about it. But that's not reality.
Yep.
It's been good. Did you want to say something before we get out of here?
No, I stand on what I said.
Oh, she stand on what she said. All right, cool. So we're gonna give a quick takeaway. Tell people where they can find you. I appreciate Mindy Eden for being here. I thank you so much for your time. Amar Rashad and Toya. I keep thinking about the Amar Rashad that always is married to Felicia Rashad every time I say her name. I really appreciate y'all being here. Hopefully, we ain't scare y'all too much and y'all come back one day.
Great conversation.
I appreciate that. That's the goal, man, to have good conversation and get other people to understand perspectives. Because oftentimes people don't know your perspective, obviously, and they don't give you time to say it either. Right? If you do say something. Right. So that's why I appreciate that you all allow people to have their moment to get whatever it is that they want to say, and don't mind the chat because it's not their show. You know what I'm saying? All right. And if you decide not to say anything, that's cool as well. All right. So what's your takeaway from the show? And where can the people find you? And we'll start with Minden Eden, and then we'll go Dwayne, and then we'll go this way. Okay. What was your takeaway, and where can they find you, or however you want to do it?
Takeaway is that a lot of us are saying a lot of the same things. Everybody is seeking for peace. We're just trying to find that. For me, it's in Christ. I hope everybody can come to their own understanding. I know that I came to mine, and that's why I have peace. It says peace that surpasses all understanding. So that's what I seek. I don't seek happiness, but I just appreciate the conversation. I appreciate hearing everybody's perspective and opinion. It was a great conversation, a conversation that needs to be had, that's not had in a lot of different spaces. So Humble Dad, I appreciate you for inviting me, and I appreciate you for bringing these topics to life. And just I appreciate everybody on the panel, like just sitting back listening to y'all. I believe when you sit back and you listen, you can learn a lot from everybody. And all of us are going to always be students. So I was a student tonight as well, just sitting back and just learning from from everybody's perspective. You can find us on at Mending Eden on Instagram, on TikTok, on YouTube. We're on Spotify. All of your streaming platforms, So yeah, I appreciate y'all.
Absolutely. Hey DJ, what you got?
Man, takeaway from tonight, HD's actually getting up there because he got himself some trolls tonight. And that was pretty impressive. When you got haters, you're doing something right. So I like seeing that. So keep doing what you're doing. And also, you know what? HD, we always joke and we say, you know what? Sometimes, man, you far from humble, brother. But you know what? Whenever I tell you that, I appreciate your answers because you say, you know what? I'm trying to live it. And I appreciate that. So HD gave me a compliment today. He said, DJ, you growing. You getting better. We're having a conversation about life. And that little compliment right there, I appreciate it. But I'm going to have to say, though, it's because of platforms like this. Actually, for me personally, because I don't really dabble too much out there, it's because of this. Like sitting there, like what you were saying, Mandanine, like just sitting here and gleaning from conversations like this. Because, hey, we get occupied in our own headspace sometimes, right? And our way is the right way. But hearing perspectives from somebody else, right? Iron sharpen iron. And I enjoy this conversation. I enjoy this platform. So appreciate you. Keep doing what you're doing.
And what can they find?
Photography.com.
And I put that one in the chat for sure. Ricky, on you.
Hey, I learned that Amar Rashad got a name twin in the world. You know what I'm saying? I found out that Amar Rashad and Toya is a pretty dope couple. I found out Jennifer didn't give a lot to this conversation today. I don't know what she on. Like, who you mad at? What happened?
Y'all wouldn't let me talk. I just let y'all have it. I let y'all have it.
I'm just messing with you, sis. I mean, every day I learn that God is real. You know what I'm saying? Every day I learn that God is within us. He's all around us, and He's there. All you got to do is ask. All right, all you got to do is ask them and believe when you ask them for something. And what I learned today, man, your life is yours, right? Stop comparing it to everybody else's, right? Everybody look at these so-called people, other YouTubers, right? And it don't matter what you believe your life would be or how theirs is, they ain't gonna trade it with you. Take care of yours, love yours. You know what I'm saying? And y'all know me. Y'all can find me on Instagram at R_Dubs, ARE_DUBBZ. Y'all can find me here on YouTube at Ricky Williams #TWT. And first and foremost, take care of yourself. Take care of your family. Everything else will take care of itself. It's your boy. We go.
That's what's up. Amara, Rashad, and Toya.
Yeah, thank you very much for inviting us. This was really good. I think we was only supposed to be on for an hour, but it worked out. I didn't have my other appointment or anything like that, so I'm glad that we was able to stay for the whole time. I really enjoy like tough and complicated conversations from people who are not scared to say what's on their minds. I really get like a rise from those types of conversations, and that's what I was here for. And so it was really good just to hear just you being you and not being scared to say what's on your mind and your perspective, because that's the only way that we can grow. That's the only way we can have compassion for others and grow empathy and to try to understand, the other side. So this is all important. And I know you say we have some trolls, and I'm just hoping that the way that we handled the disagreements can be a great example on how they can handle things that they disagree with as well. So thanks again for that.
Yeah. And you can find us on Instagram, Toya, TOYA_marriage advice is where we are.
That's what's up. I appreciate y'all staying as long as y'all did. Jennifer, here's your now time to speak.
I want to say, as the unmarried person on the panel with no children, but with an absent father, to a degree, the person that raised me died when I was young. And then, prior to him, whatever, to that guy. It was just very interesting to hear everyone's perspective. I do have my thoughts and feelings about whose fault everything is. I agree with most of you guys on a lot of it. I always say men can have 300, 400, 500 babies a year if they want to. Women can only have one a year, period. Is it her responsibility to make sure that one a year is with her husband? Yes, it is. Is it his responsibility to make sure that them 400 or 500 that he's having that he doesn't have? Yes, it is. It's everybody's responsibility. It's everybody's to blame. So now let's just fix it. That's the way that I feel about it. Everybody plays a part. We all play our role in the brokenness, period. So who cares whose fault it is anymore at this point? It doesn't matter. Let's just fix it. But like I said, I definitely enjoy everybody's perspective on this particular subject. It's something that, while I have some things to say, I'd rather sit and listen to everyone else because y'all have more experience in this arena than me. So sometimes it's better to just sit back and listen and learn some things, so I do appreciate everyone's perspective. Sorry, I said appreciate again. Don't throw your iPad. But I do appreciate everyone's perspective, even if I don't agree with it.
And where can they find you?
You can find me on IG at CurlsArlise, CurlzArlise.
Prototype Dad's on you.
Man, you can find us at on YouTube, Instagram, Spotify, kind of all over. We're on every platform. My takeaway for today's show is that I don't think this problem will ever be solved. We're just going to keep going round and round and round in a circle, and it'll be just that. You know what I'm saying? Until we do what I said. You know what I'm saying? But until we do what I say, it ain't gonna work. You know what I mean? Because it's all of us that will always say. You know what I'm saying? So it just is what it is.
That's what's up. Hey, on you, Dia.
You're muted.
You can find me on IG at a Rose from Rubble. And my takeaway tonight is that humble dad will not let me have my own opinion. that's that's the takeaway on every show, for one. For two, prototype I wish for him experience with a woman that's able to hold herself accountable. Ricky, you right. Somebody is lying. Mended, Eden, you are absolutely right. We need to take individual responsibility. Ahmad and Toya, you guys, I commend you for working through your troubles. And I appreciate everybody's opinion. And this is a great space to hear objective opinions. I learn a lot from you guys. I really do. Jennifer, I love you. I love your energy. And even though you not this wasn't your show tonight, I still appreciate your perspective usually. But pretty much that's it. I didn't take away much tonight because I didn't get to have an opinion, but
Get them.
it is what it is.
Okay, listen, I'm gonna let you have it next week. You know what I'm saying? All I did was disagree.
All the time. I mean, it's okay to disagree, but you can't tell me what to think. I'm sharing with you from my life experience. You can't tell me
fair.
That I'm right or I'm wrong. That's our problem. We think it's the right and the wrong. Sometimes it is what it is.
Listen, that's a challenge for me, being an analytical person as well as being a teacher. I'm always having to tell somebody they right or they wrong. You know what I'm saying? And I'm a father of 4.
Okay.
So I'm always having to be correcting somebody on if they right or wrong.
Oh.
But I apologize. It's all in fun.
Yeah, it's cool.
Maybe 2% of the time. You know what I'm saying? What I learned is that I put together a good show. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Where I didn't know and that it would get to this particular point. But I just been watching a lot of different people do their thing, and for God to allow me to have the opportunity to meet people that I wouldn't otherwise meet if it wasn't for the internet and the platform in which I'm trying to build, right? And then for you all to elaborate on your perspective, even though I typically think that I'm right a lot, you know what I'm saying? That's just how I think that most people are like that.
I do too.
I'm willing to actually listen. Like me, when I'm asking a question, you can ask Dwayne, Ricky. I don't know if Jennifer got to know me just like that just yet, but when I'm asking a question, I'm genuinely trying to understand your perspective. You know what I'm saying? Because I want to see how did you come to that point. And one of the reasons why for me is that when I used to apologetics, I would talk to people about the scriptures, and I didn't have an answer. And so I went to go find out the answers so that I could be able to ask them more questions so that I could be able to answer it better. And so that's what y'all hear. And then my mom taught me, and I was raised by a single mother. And shout out to her and her twin. They on the they listening and chiming in. She taught me to ask a lot of questions. She said, when you don't understand, you always need to ask. And if you don't know, it's because you didn't ask. Right. And so that's what I take away, and that's what I bring here to the stage. And like I told you before, it's going to be a great show. Why? Because I said so. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe to the channel. But they told me to keep it simple. Just subscribe. I need about 200 and what I'm at 245. So I need about 200. No, I'm at I don't know. I need about 255 more subscribers to get to 1,000. And I know I'm better than that. So the goal is to get there by next Friday, which is my 45th birthday. Appreciate y'all time. We went over, but I told y'all be acting like them Pentecostal preachers out there. All right. Don't forget to follow all of these people on their platform. We'll be back next week at 9 p.m. Central, and then hopefully we'll get to some other topics as it relates to absentee fathers or any other topics that come to hand. Until next time, we out here. Deuces.
something.
The thing that I like most about being a dad is that I see that I'm about to impact the world.